Talk to us about the activism that we've seen this year. It has had a particular flavour given Me Too and everything that came out of that. Is this encouraging to you?
Actually, it is. I mean, I am from a generation that I was very proud to be a feminist, and it was a wonderful thing to be, and you were really proud. And then my daughter's generation, they kind of took it for granted, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I see that now this new generation really is feminist, and I think it's important. I mean, I think that to fight for equality seems like so obvious and so normal. And so I am happy about the Me Too. And I know that people say, oh, but it's too much. I don't think so. I think it's time for everybody for women to take charge, and also for, I mean, they should be, you can't just say we need one woman on our board. Why? I mean, it's just like I need a green plant on the table.
It feels like the conversation waxes and wanes, right? So sometimes it feels like, how are we still having this conversation? But it needs to be had because things are still so uneven. How do you maintain that momentum, particularly at a company level?
Well, I think the company is like a family, is like the world. I think that women have a very important role at home, in the world, and I always say, when there's a tragedy, somehow it's always the women who take over, right? So I think women should be in charge without the tragedy, and I think it's important, but it also matters that the women own it, So I think it's important that the women feel strong and that they own their strength and that they demand, equality and demand to be equal. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's something so crazy. Exactly.
Now, you did recently present the DVF Awards, the most recent batch. Tell us about how this all began, why you felt the need for it, and who this year's women were.
All right. Well, the DVF Award is an award that I started 9 years ago, and it is always the second night of Women in the World conference. And it's really to give money and exposure to extraordinary women who had the courage to fight, the strength to survive, and the leadership to inspire. And it's usually two women from the Vital Voices network. This time we had an amazing woman from Gambia and a woman who, I mean, we have these incredible women. We also gave the big Lifetime Award to Justice Sotomayor. Misty Copeland got the inspiration one. So it's but it's an intimate affair that happens in a room in the UN. It's an intimate affair of maybe 300 people, but it's very, very moving and very substantial. And after 9 years, it's a family where you continue to be involved with these women and help them network and so on.
So you mentioned some amazing and extraordinary women there, and there are so many examples, right? But how do we get from spotlighting the individual examples like yourself to, a place where this is just so normal that, every second CEO is a woman?
Well, I just hired a CEO woman. So,
I was just getting there.
This is the first. No, I had a woman president for a long time. So but I think that every woman can help, and every man can help. And one of the things that I say is, us women, we are mothers, so it's very important how we raise our sons, because how we raise our sons is also very important to the future. So I think we should be conscious of that, and should be conscious of that at every moment of our life, in our family, in everywhere.
Well, you just mentioned it. You just hired a CEO that's a woman. Now, perhaps you could say that there are more of them in the design field and, retail, in branding. But that said, every CEO that's a woman is another woman CEO, right?
No, I know. I mean, it's... listen, you know, you can only go one day at a time, one conversation at a time, inspire women to excel, to believe in themselves, not to believe that, you know, having children will stop your career. I mean, it's a lot depends also on the women and how they behave and how they express themselves and how they believe in themselves.